What is it that makes a scary story really scary? The kind that gets under your skin and stays there. Well, it's usually not the big, obvious monster. It's the possibility, the thing you can't quite see. And today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to dissect fear itself to see how it's built, one creepy moment at a time. So yeah, how does a story actually make your skin crawl? It's a question writers and filmmakers have been obsessed with forever. And honestly, the answer is usually found in the little things, the subtle ways a story plays with our deepest, most primal fears. And to figure that out, we are going to tear apart this incredible piece of minimalist horror called The Mirror's Autonomy. Seriously, it's a masterclass in how to build pure terror with just a handful of perfectly placed words. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with how the story builds its creepy atmosphere. Then we'll look at the unseen threat, the big horrifying reveal, and of course, that final twist that just brings it all home. Okay, first up, crafting the atmosphere. You see, the best horror doesn't just jump out and yell boo. It starts quiet. It builds this creeping dread from the ground up, using silence and isolation as its main tools. The script immediately gets us off balance with this line. It's not just late at night, it's 2:17 a.m., a super specific, kind of weird time. It's that dead zone in the middle of the night when every little sound is magnified and, yeah, everything just feels wrong. And then, boom, the story drops its anchor. The single most important line for building the terror to come. I live alone. Just 3 words, but they change everything. They completely remove any kind of safety net. Now, every whisper, every creak isn't just a random noise. It's a direct threat. Our narrator is totally, completely on their own. And look at the pacing here. It is so patient, so methodical. The script doesn't rush anything. We feel every single tick of the clock as the narrator's panic grows. From the first whisper to the whisper behind them to that awful realization, and then that moment of false hope when there's nothing there. The tension just gets wound tighter and tighter. That slow burn panic leaves us right into our second section, the unseen threat. This is where the story brilliantly escalates, from just a weird sound to a terrifying suggestion, basically letting our own minds create the monster. Now this is a perfect escalation. The first whisper? Okay, maybe it was the wind, maybe a dream. But a whisper from behind you, in your own room? Oh, that is invasive. That's personal. The threat is no longer just in the house, it is right there with you. And now we get a visual, but it's so smart, so vague. Something. Not a ghost, not a person, just a shadow that moved. And that is so much scarier, because now our brains are forced to fill in that blank. And let's be honest, the monster we imagine is always way more terrifying than anything someone can just describe to us. There's actually a name for this technique. It's called auditory suspense. It's the art of using sound, or even the complete lack of sound, to build tension. Think about a movie like A Quiet Place. It's that whisper. In this story, the lack of an explanation. It all paints this picture of a threat that's terrifying because you can't see it. Okay, so this brings us to the real turning point, our third section, the horrifying reveal. This is the moment the danger stops being just in the narrator's head. It's no longer implied, it becomes a very real, reality-breaking problem. I mean, chills. Just chills. This right here is the heart of the horror. It's not some random ghost. It's the narrator's own face, their own reflection, acting on its own. It breaks a fundamental law of physics, something we take for granted every single day, and that violation is just so deeply, deeply unsettling. And just look at this contrast. On one side, you have the narrator literally frozen in fear. On the other, their own reflection, their own face, is moving independently. And that slow smile, that's pure malice. It signals a complete loss of control, a theft of self. So why does this work so well? Well, it taps directly into our fear of the doppelganger, the uncanny. It takes the idea of you and it perverts it. It proves you're not alone in the absolute worst way possible, because the other thing in the room looks exactly like you. And that brings us to the grand finale, the final twist. This is where the script pulls off its most brilliant move, expanding the horror from the narrator's bedroom directly into ours. It shatters the fourth wall. It's a classic horror command, isn't it? The whisper isn't just a sound anymore, it's a direct warning. This just cranks up the suspense to 11. We, right alongside the narrator, are being told that the real danger is now right behind us. And there it is. The narrator seals their own fate. The one rule they were given has been broken. The suspense instantly snaps, and it's replaced by this awful certainty that something terrible is about to happen. And here it is, the final, chilling masterstroke. Did you catch the shift? It doesn't say he shouldn't have or she shouldn't have. It says you shouldn't have. The story isn't talking to the narrator anymore. It's talking directly to us. It's pulling us into the horror.
And that's the terrifying question the script just leaves hanging in the air. It turns you from a safe, passive observer into a potential victim. It suggests that by listening, by engaging with this story, you've kind of invited the same danger into your room. So maybe you shouldn't turn around either.